told us demons were monsters. Fear them, shun them, call a priest if you see them near you. But what if none of that was ever the truth? What if the very ones they told you to fear were the ones who could free you? Now, this isn't about worship, and it's not about rebellion for rebellion's sake. This is about distortion, the hijacking of truth by hands who wanted only your obedience and never your liberation. Truth is a beam, pure, but when it enters density, it bends like light through a prism. Once bent, it doesn't disappear. It becomes half-truth, doctrine, dogma. And the opportunists saw their chance. Kings, priests, rulers, scribes, they scribbled over the old currents, edited the scripts, recast liberators as villains. Demons weren't made up or erased. They were bent, and then stamped with the name evil to keep you away. Take a look at the Bible here in the Old Testament, and you don't see one voice of God, you see many pens. First you have the Creator, okay. You also have a warlord. You have a petty tribal god and a jealous tyrant. Which one's Yahweh? And which one is just the empire scribes with the quill? This is not our source. This is not our Creator. This is distortion. God rewritten as a tool of empire. The angels and the demons, once fluid rolls in the same current, are split into two trees, the Sephiroth of light above and the Qliphoth below. But the Qliphoth is not evil. It is the shadow side. It is the knife that cuts through illusions, the mirror that refuses your mask. It's no surprise the Watchers who descended are remembered here. I snagged that diagram of the trees of life from Cypher Grove. In the most recent episode, Qliphoth, I want to give Dorian Dramera props for pointing out what I've noticed too. Dorian found distortions himself with the placement of a lot of pagan deities. I guess it was for lack of better knowledge of better coordinating entities back then, but he modified it in a way that makes a lot more sense. The lie that works best is the one wrapped in truth. The source or the Creator was distorted into a jealous God demanding obedience. Christ was distorted into the Roman Empire's mascot and hung on banners to bless conquest. Awakening was distorted by hippie culture into retreats with hefty price tags. And demons, the liberators, were recast as soul kidnappers, guides penned with the names of human-made egregores, which are negative thought forms born from fear, and pinned on the ancient ones like false charges. Beelzebub isn't crawling into a child's bedroom. Lucifer isn't bothering with a hormonal teen girl's tantrums. These are projections, not possessions. I don't tell theory when I tell you this. I tell field work. I was subjected to 7 years of structured brainwashing. The surgical kind, calculated, journaled, breaking you so slow that hope even stops knocking. I didn't know I was gone. I just faded. 5 years in, a voice started on my left. Not quite in my ear, not quite in my mind's ear, but somewhere in between. It was gravel-edged, steady, and patient. This isn't you. Of course I thought I was crazy, but in my bones, I knew I could trust him, even though I had been programmed not to trust anyone. He worked on me for 2 years, step by step like I was blindfolded in a minefield. He guided me through traps I couldn't see, whispering when to move and when to be still. Once in a confrontation with the brainwasher, the voice cut through like a blade. Do not react. Do not let him pull you into the chaos. That became my power. Silence, stillness, control. He taught me how to walk again, not with my feet, but with my will. And then when the brainwasher left town, I saw my window to leave Germany, and I did. Just like that. However, the brainwasher was still alive on my phone. Out of habit or some sick echo of Stockholm syndrome, I allowed contact, and that is when the voice that has been steady for years turned to thunder. Cut him off. My chest physically rumbled with the sound. I can still feel it if I think about it. And he repeated it until I obeyed. And when I finally did, a silence so deep felt like peace opened up around me. A warmth like recognition too, not just a guide, something older, almost family. It was then that I knew who he was. Asmodeus taught me to see the architecture of the lie, not just its content. And once I saw the scaffold, the content fell away like crepe paper in the rain. He didn't demand worship, he didn't drain me, he only asked for fidelity to truth. Asmodeus has been pinned rather simply as the demon of lust and wrath, a footnote on a list of infernal names pinned by Hollywood Satanism and pulp paperback Levians who never looked past the costume. But I meant no caricature. I meant a liberator in the shadows, and the first breath of freedom that tasted nothing like the script that was written for me. Demons are not kidnapper spirits. They are examiners, challengers. They are the ones that make you bleed your poison so you can stand upright. But do not mistake that for softness. These are not plush-winged guardians from a storybook. They are ancient intelligences. Some, like Belial, Azazel, even Asmodeus, carry currents so immense that you approach them like you would the ocean, with respect, preparation, and importantly, clear intent. They are not here to harm the sincere, but their gravity is real. And if you wade in unready, the tide will teach you. They test, they refine, they reveal. Neither soul snatchers nor Care Bears, but high entities whose respect you earn by showing respect. Distortion wants you to fear them, because if you listen, you stop obeying the system. Let them teach you, and you stop feeding a machine. Discernment matters, yes. Not every shadow is a teacher. But you will know this by the fruit. Do they demand your shrinking or energy, or do they demand your freedom? Asmodeus asked me to remember who I was. That was all. Every time you trust your intuition, you bypass distortion. Every direct knowing collapses centuries of propaganda. Every time you reclaim the word demon as teacher, you rob the system of one of its favorite scarecrows. Demons aren't dragging you down. They're cutting the strings of the system tied around your throat. That's why you were told to fear them. But fear isn't truth. This is De-Demonizing the Demons, Resurrected. Not a rehash, but a fuller unveiling of the original story I wanted to tell you, but with more clarity. I don't ask you to believe me. I'm a rational gal from the show me state. I ask you to test it. Next time you feel their presence, and I'm going to tell you, they love to find you when you're at your lowest, when you've got really nothing else to lose, so you might as well listen. You may find that the ones they taught you to fear are the very ones who will liberate you. And the ones that liberate you will be the ones to remind you you were never anyone's to own. You were always free. Cosmic fam, we've grown to a magnificent 77. That number right there is a vibe in itself. For each of you that listened to the end for a remake video this early in the life of a channel, you're the real seekers, and I really do appreciate that. For the next episode, I want to expose more distortions. I took a 6-month dive into the guts of the corporate machine. It's nasty. I'm going to tell you what I found next time. Till then, stay weird.